Alright, in this video I'm going to walk you through understanding your target market, but once again, because I want to go deep on some of this stuff and I don't want to really, just tell you go find your target market and then leave you with absolutely zero information to understand what that means. I'm going to go to a PowerPoint, so let's go. So basically put, the target market is a specific group of consumers at which a company aims its products and services. That's taken directly from the entrepreneur.com encyclopedia. The biggest target market lie is that everyone is my target market. Not defining your target market can kill your business. And when you approach your target market as thinking everyone on the planet or everyone in Arizona or everyone in the US is your target market, you are not defining your target market by doing that, and it will kill your business. So I want to tell a quick story. I had a buddy of mine who opened a mattress store. I asked him what his target market was. His answer, because he had never done this before, is he thought it was everyone. Well, when you break it down, and I'll go into a little bit more details of the story as we go along, especially when you get to products like mattresses, you can get a $100 mattress or you can get a $3,000 mattress, right? And so what kind of mattresses do you sell? Do you have mattresses for every single budget, or do you primarily sell high dollar mattresses? And if you're selling high dollar mattresses, you have to look at your target market now gets cut, in half or whatever, depending on how much income that family needs in order to qualify to be able to afford your products. So if you're selling a $3,000 mattress and someone who makes $20,000 a year walks into your store, they're not going to buy. And if they do, it's highly unlikely. So you want to keep that in mind. So moving forward, the importance of having a target market. It develops a well-defined target market is the first step in creating a successful business. It will allow you to focus on and refine marketing strategies to attract them. It builds onto your brand so you can relate and connect with your customers. And the most important part is it will save you time and money, ensuring you will be directing your marketing and advertising efforts and budget only to the people who will buy. So like I was saying in the slide before, you want to make sure that once you have your target market set, you'll see that your return on investment is extremely higher because your investment is smaller, because you're only targeting people who actually have interest in your product and can afford your product and are willing to buy your product. So the next thing is understanding target markets. And this is the best way to understand it. You'll want your target market to be people who have a need for the products or services. The biggest word there is need. The next thing is with the means to make the purchase. If, I absolutely positively love the new Teslas. At this current point in my life, I don't have the means to make the purchase. So I am not their target market. You're always going to have people who see something and are like, oh, that's cool. But never follow through with the purchase, right? If you're let's say you're a professional painter and you paint, residential painter, you paint houses for a living. You're not going to want to target people who rent houses. And the reason for that is 90% of the time they don't have the authority to make that decision. But more importantly, most people who are, renting aren't worried about what the color of their walls are. Some people do. I'm not saying everybody's not, but honestly, the people who are going to make that decision and have the means to make the purchase are going to be homeowners. So there's a huge chunk of the population narrowed down for you, right? You have to actually see who's going to make the actual decision to give you money. And another thing you also need to understand is that everyone, doesn't matter where you are, who you are, what color your hair is, if you're male, female, what race you are, none of that matters. Everyone is part of many, many different target markets at the same time. For different things, right? I'd be on a target market for people who like playing sports video games. I'm also the person on the target market for personal development books, stuff like that. So you have to understand that there are many different target markets out there that you will fall under. The parts of the target market, and this is the thing that most people really don't dig deep enough into, and that is demographics, which is your race, age, gender, educational level, or education level. Psychographics, which is more of your mindset type stuff. Geographics, where they live, where they are, for lack of a better term. Behavioral, what are their hobbies, what are their buying habits. Product relationship, how they use your product. And the one thing I find a lot, and I'll say this real quick, is under behavioral, there's a lot of people who don't understand why that's there. And I just want to say, for instance, I have a buddy of mine who owns a painting company, right? We're back on paint. If you know that the majority of the people who are actually going to give you money are moms, stay-at-home moms most of the time, for some people, well, if you know that, then you have to look at their hobbies are going to be focused around the kids a lot of the times. Well, if it's focused around the kids in 2016, 2017, it's the end of 2016 as I'm recording this, but whatever year it is, you have to find where they're going to be, right? Well, if their hobbies are, based around kids, you have to start thinking, well, where do they get these ideas for what to do? Well, at this point, and it may change. If I find a massive change in this stuff, I will update the training, don't worry. But if it's a single, if it's a mom and you're looking for what she's doing with her kids, most of the time they're on Pinterest and they're downloading kids' behavioral kids' activities, right? Well, if you're a painting company who has a board up for, stay-at-home moms or DIY projects and stuff that hits those hobbies, that's how you're actually going to start getting getting them to notice you. And you can move forward. You can get really deep on that stuff. I'm not going to waste your time or bore you. At least I'll try not to. So next thing we're going to just go into is defining your target market. This is going to be the hardest part when it comes to growing your business. And I speak from experience. I'm redefining my target market at least once a week, sometimes more. The more I add into the Small Biz Academy or whatever the business is that I'm working with, changes a lot, and that's because, especially with me, technology changes, daily, so it's hard to keep up with it. But you want to make sure that you understand that it's going to be very difficult, and it really look at it like it's going to be almost impossible, so when you actually finish it, it's not that hard. So make sure you look at the products and services as your customer and not the business owner. That's going to be the biggest thing that's going to make this so easy for you guys if you actually think of it as you're the one buying the widget or the book or whatever it is you're trying to sell. So some of the questions you're going to want to ask. What sex would be more likely to buy and or use your product or service? Is the product or service something one would buy for someone else? For instance, if you're selling, and I hate to say this, I'm going to get some emails from people yelling at me, and I apologize for that. But if you're selling men's deodorant, right? There was a case study, I can't remember where I found it, but there was a study I had heard that when it comes to men's deodorant, it was like 79% of the people who actually buy the deodorant are the wives or the girlfriends or the moms, right? So you're not targeting men. You're targeting the women because they're the ones who are actually making the purchase. So you have to keep in mind that's one of those products that the person who's using it is not the same as the person who's buying it. So you actually really have to kind of target two people at once for that one. How old is your client? A lot of things, I know with Snapchat, the demographic on Snapchat is extremely young, right? So if you know your target market is younger, that's where you're going to target the people. Are they married, right? You're going to want to know what interests they have, and that goes back to like the Pinterest stuff. And I'm just dropping ideas of where you would use this information moving forward with marketing. Where does your client live? This is one of the biggest things in the target market thing most people don't think about. If you own a pizza shop in Atlanta, Georgia, you're going to want to make sure that you're not trying to target, by accident, a city in Northeast Tennessee, because I'm not going to drive to Atlanta for pizza. I've had a lot of amazing pizza. I've not had that good of pizza yet. If you think you have that pizza, at CJ Halleck on Twitter, let me know. Because if that pizza's that good, I need to eat it. That being said, how much money does your client have? Do they have kids? How many kids? And details are very important. If you know, based on your research, that most of your kids have, you have kids at ages at 17 and 19, and they both go to such and such high school, or one goes to, this high school, one goes to this college, they go to church on the weekends at, the best church, on the corner of Street and Drive, whatever, right? The kind of music they like, the brands they follow online, what hours are they online, when do they actually, interact online, do they spend more time online in the evening or in the morning, during the day, on their lunch break, what do they wear? Do they wear name brand clothing? Do they wear jeans and t-shirts only, work boots, whatever it is, right? Where do they work? Are they self-employed? What are their hobbies? Do they work out? If so, is there a specific gym that they work out at? Do they follow sports? If so, what sport, what team, what TV shows do they watch? Are they business? So there's a lot of different things to look at. Now, I said that I'm going to give another small story. When it comes down to it, you'll want to name your target market. It sounds crazy, but it will help relate with them when you can actually name them. There is a gentleman who I have followed for years, and he gave the best example of a target market. His name is Frank Kern. If you do not know Frank Kern, I highly recommend go look him up. He's amazing. Gives some very good information. But he's standing up in an event, and he's going through, target market and then the importance of having one. And he says, his target market is Bob. Bob is an accountant who is 36 years old. He's married with 2 kids in high school that drive him crazy. He makes $45,000 a year. He wears polo shirts, khakis, and penny loafers. Now, he says that, move the mouse here, he says that on stage. Well, he finishes his presentation. They get ready to take a break. They call for the break. Guy walks up to him and says, "Hi, I'm Bob. You nailed me almost perfectly. The only difference is my kids don't drive me crazy." He was 36 years old. He was an accountant. He was married with 2 kids, both of them in high school. He made about $45,000 a year, and he walked up wearing a polo shirt, khakis, and penny loafers. So when you actually target people down, and he was a customer, he was at his event, right? So when you really understand who your customer is, you'll find that those are who your target market is, you'll find those are your customers. So when it comes to finding your target market, you also want to look into where are their eyes and ears, what social media sites they use, what problems, so you can actually target. So if their problems are there, you can go through different things, find a way to actually help them, and you use the information that you have once you've named your target market to actually move forward with giving them the solutions, giving them, the tools they need to get around that problem. For me, as an example, I teach people how to, market themselves online and build websites and this, that, and the other. Well, the biggest problem starts with, just as an example, website design, right? They need a website. They don't know how to do it. Well, you can go and use one of these free website builders that can be amazing or not. I'm not going to speak on that. But you can use different things. Well, the one thing you need to realize is you need to own it, right? You need to own your domain. So that's one of the things that people have problems with. So I put together a training to teach people how to do that and gave it away for free in exchange for them to come and read a report or, opt in and give me their email address so I can send them a little bit more stuff over the time, over time. More than likely, if you're watching this, you were in that funnel. But basically put, I give this stuff out because that's a problem that they have. And I found them on social media sites because I know a lot of my stuff is circled around business. I know then I could target a lot of those people via LinkedIn and different sites like that. So that being said, like I said, if you have questions, feel free to contact us using the contact page, the Small Biz Academy Ask platform, or the Facebook group. This is, as usual with most of our trainings, members only. So please, if you have questions, go to the Facebook group, leave a comment. If there's something that you think I might have missed, which is very possible because I am a human, please leave me a message. Let me know. I'll be glad to try to fix it. Or if you just have a question, and you're like, hey, I really thought you were going to answer this, but you didn't. So what's up? Shoot it to me. I'll get it to you as soon as possible. That being said, hope everybody has an amazing day. Be great. Stay boosted. We'll catch you on the next training. Take care.